It's a beautiful day outside. Ghosts are mourning, ashes are blossoming. And on days like these, kids like you should be negated in hell. Welcome, custom card fans. My name is Aurora, and I'm here to present the Halloween special Archetype Spotlight. This ongoing series will see a spotlight shine on some of the hundreds of custom strategies, archetypes, and support that you can find on the server. We'll explore the beloved and the forgotten, the barely viable and the meta-defining, the decks that make EXU, well, EXU. For this seasonal special, I really had to think hard about what deck I wanted to play. And then I realised, I didn't want to think at all. Let's take a look at Ghostrick Ghost Girl Control. I have no words to describe this deck, nor any reason to delay the deck list, so here it is. This is probably the funniest deck list that I have ever seen or made in my life, that will equally amuse and infuriate every watcher. The premise behind the deck is that, well, it uses the Ghost Girls and a large number of level 3 extenders to reach the Ghostrick extra deck. Where the deck deviates from the famously controversial Ghostrick list promoted by a certain someone, not naming any names, is that a number of the power cards from that list are banned. So we'll just have to make do with what we have. First, the monsters. The main deck Ghost Girls, those that can be considered useful in almost any matchup, are 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, 3 Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion, 3 Ghost Mourner and Moonlit Chill as an Effect Veiler or Infinite Impermanence equivalent that comes with the added benefit of also being a Ghost Girl, and 2 Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. I'm sure I don't need to explain what these cards do, but as a quick reminder, I've messed this up already like 5 times. I'm not redoing this. This can stay in. Ash Blocks is too close to Ash Blossom, and I don't know why I've written this in my script. Ash Blocks effects that would add a card from the deck to the hand, send from the deck to the graveyard, or special summon from the deck. Bell stops effects that will return cards from the graveyard pretty much anywhere, special summon a card from the graveyard or banish a card from the graveyard. Mourner changes to the special summon of a monster to negate its effects and inflict damage to its controller if it leaves the field, and Ogre will destroy any card that activates its effect while it's already face up on the field. After that are our extenders, being 3 Junk Forward, a simple special summon if we control no monsters, and 3 apiece of Psychic Tracker and Psychic Wielder, each of which are able to summon themselves if there is a different level 3 on the field. For our Ghostrick cards, we are only playing 2 monsters. Jack Frost is a slightly more defensive option if we feel that we're in danger of being killed outright, and is an easy material for Festival, of which we're also only playing 1 because of extra deck space. We're playing 1 copy of Fairy as both a recursive and a disruptive piece that allows us to easily access cards like Shot for a second time, and naturally in the spell slots we're playing 1 Parade as our field spell of choice, and the Shot as the Playmaker. For the Ghostricks, and Necro Valley is in here as an honorary Ghostrick card. It's easily settable by Ghostrick Renovation. In addition to that trap, which we're playing 1 of, we're also playing 1 copy of Ghost Trick or Treat, as I think it will give me access to more varied options with my Angel searches. Speaking of, we're playing 3 copies of Angel and 2 Alucard. I'd love to play 3 of each of them, but again, extra deck space. To wrap it all up is the Adventurer engine, which comes with the added synergy of Enchantress being a level 3 extender. Naturally, we're playing 3 of it, as well as 3 copies of Aramesir and 1 Fateful Adventure, which I'm sure I don't need to tell any PTSD-ridden TCG player what these cards actually do. We're also playing a copy of Illegal Knight, because Griffin Rider is banned. To wrap up that package is Drakabak the Rideable Dragon, as well as 3 copies of Parallel Exceed and 1 Plague Spreader Zombie to finish off the main deck. Exceed helps us to access Angel of Mischief a lot easier, and Plague Spreader will be important for a line that you will see soon enough. In the extra deck, the last cards we have are the Plague Spreader, which will send the Plague Spreader from the deck to the graveyard, and will also allow us to banish zombies from our graveyard in order to trigger its effects. Which is actually really useful since a lot of our monsters will be going to the graveyard. Our OTK option is Access Code Talker at home, Tar Unter, the Divine Scream. Do I have bias towards this card as opposed to Borrelsword Dragon? Yes. Yes, I do, because I made this card. It also has the added benefit of being able to trigger something like Alucard's floating effect when it's destroyed, but Alucard also has 1800 attack, and therefore this would just beat him for 8000 damage and will be game in the vast majority of scenarios. After this, 2 copies of Ghost Wheel and Floating Lanterns. This is the Ghost Girl Xyz monster that's just a Trident. This is essentially just a stronger copy of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, but it's a very worthy addition to the deck for being that. After that is Future Mech XX Absolute Xyz Emperor, which is UDF at home, and Dreadful Arsenal ZZ Ares Abyssal Flames, which is Zeus at home. They're also both just Trident. Well, UDF is Trident, and our Zeus retrain here is a DP. But they're both just Trident. And in the Synchro package, we have Hyper Psychic Riser for being a skill drain for higher attack point decks, and the very funny tech in the deck, Garden Rose Flora to quick synchro with, which can, okay, so basically, the line is, and this is a lot of copium, Plague Spreader will send a Plague Spreader from the deck to the grave, and we can then sync that with either a Tracker or a Junk Forward or a Enchantress to summon Flora. Flora can pop our field spell, Necro Valley, or Parade, depending on which, and quick synchro on our opponent's turn with the Rose token to summon Black Rose Dragon, which is actually Zeus. Oh, the lengths we go for Zeus, my love. The lengths I go to summon you. To wrap up the entire deck, we have 3 Lancia, 3 Ghost Sister and Spooky Dogwood, in case our opponent is playing something that just summons 500 times a turn, and this is a better defensive option than something like Ghostrick Jackfrost. 3 copies of Sleepy Maiden and Fortune Wheel, which is good against counter decks, token decks, and any decks that set cards from the graveyard, like reset spells and traps. So, don't read Ghostrick Fairy. And 3 Cosmic Cyclone for back row decks, and 3 Dark Ruler No More as our board breaker of choice. I don't expect high things from this deck. This deck is just very funny. So we'll have to see how this deck fares in an actual game. Let's get into the match. This is going to be the match between our wonderful, exquisite, perfect Ghostrick Ghost Girl control deck. And we're going to be playing against Refuse, who's playing Earth Zombie. Or Bone, if you want to say. There's Bone Terror, Bone Mirage. It's all about Earth Zombies. Essentially what this deck does is normal summon. A lot. So a card like Ghost Mourner, which triggers when our opponent special summons a monster, is pretty useless. In most scenarios, in this scenario, it's just a level 3 normal summon. Since we're going first, even though we lost the die roll, since Refuse does want to go second and try to OTK us, I assume, we're going to start off by normal summoning Ghost Mourner and Moonlit Chill, and then special summon the Wielder from the hand, because it is an inherent summon. Checkmate Atheists, I said inherent summon. We're then going to overlay the Wielder and the thing for the Alucard, and then detach the Alucard from the Mischief in order to search for the shot. And then we're going to activate the shot, special summon back the Alucard. These are all the lines that I'm sure you've seen 1,000 times before. We're then going to overlay over the Alucard in order to summon another Angel of Mischief, trigger the Angel of Mischief since it is a soft once per turn, and search for the Ghostrick Renovation. We're then going to trigger the effect of the Alucard in the graveyard to return this shot to the hand, and then we're going to overlay the 2 Angel of Mischiefs to summon the Xyz Emperor, activate the Parade, and then set 2 and pass the turn. Our opponent's going to draw, and it is Algul Mazera, which is, in fact, an Earth Zombie. Very cool. Refuse is very cool. Refuse is going to activate Final Destination, which is Final Destination, but with a lisp. It halves either player's life points during the end phase of the turn, send that target to the graveyard, or destroys another card our opponent controls if the target of its effect is not destroyed by it. Unfortunately, our Ixu's Emperor can be destroyed by card effects, which means that we don't get any of its funny secondary effects. So that's just going to go to the graveyard, and that's pretty much the bulk of my interaction this turn, apart from Necro Valley and this Forbidden Chalice, which Refuse is just going to negate. Love having a Forbidden Chalice that my opponent can just negate, but I suppose it does help Ghostrick get into some much needed damage, so I can forgive it. Just play a copy of Ghoul, you fucking cowards. We're going to activate Bone Mirage and trigger its effect, revealing Terror in the hand in order to normal summon it. Terror's effect is going to activate upon normal summon to search for an Earth Zombie and add it from the deck to the hand. That's going to be a Bone Reaper, and then we're going to trigger the effect of Bone Mirage not once per turn in order to summon the Bone Reaper. Bone Reaper's effect is going to trigger in order to search for a spell or trap card from the deck that actually says Earth Zombie in its text, which will be this Bone Primacy, which is basically Unexplored Winds, but for Earth Zombie. We're then going to link off the Bone Reaper in order to summon the Castle of True Illusions, which is a link monster that places pumpkin counters and is very funny, that also cannot be used as link material. We're then going to go to the battle phase, and this Bone Terror is going to swing directly. We're then going to trigger the effect of Ghostrick Parade in order to search for the coveted, the one, the only Ghostrick Jack Frost. We're then going to take the 1500 and then watch as the other Terror attacks fruitlessly into our Jack Frost. We'll special summon it from the hand in face down defense position, and we'll flip down that Ghostrick, flip down the Bone Terror. Then the Castle of True Illusions is going to swing directly because of this Parade, and we're going to search the last Ghostrick card left in our deck, which is going to be the Ghostrick Fairy. We are still going to take the damage, however, and we're going to be sitting at a cool 5,580. We're going to draw for turn in its Psychic Tracker, which does nothing without any level 3s. The Castle of True Illusions is going to place a pumpkin counter on the Bone Terror, but not on itself because it is not a zombie, which is really dumb. We're going to flip face up the Ghostrick Jack Frost and normal summon the Ghostrick Fairy. Trigger the effect of Ghostrick Fairy, flipping it face down so that we can then use this Ghostrick Shot in order to flip it face up on resolution of the card. We're going to summon this Ghostrick Alucard and then flip face up the Ghostrick Fairy and trigger the effect of the Ghostrick Fairy in order to set from the graveyard the Ghostrick Angel of Mischief. Back it comes, I suppose. Out you come, baby. And then we're going to flip face down that Ghostrick, that Bone Terror, so that we can get rid of its pumpkin counter. We're then going to overlay with the Alucard in order to summon the Angel of Mischief and then trigger the Renovation, bouncing back this Parade to hand in order to activate from the deck the Necro Valley. Why would we do this? Well, it's because we actually want the Renovations in graveyard, so we're then just going to get rid of the Necro Valley in order to set the Parade. Trigger the Renovation in the graveyard, targeting our Ghostrick Angel of Mischief in order to overlay it into the last Alucard from the extra deck. We're then going to trigger the effect of the Alucard in the extra Alucard, detaching Alucard to target the face down, which is unfortunately going to be Bone Primacy, which is a card that they can in fact chain. This will allow them to normal summon over their two monsters in order to summon the Algul Mazera, and we will then just trigger the effect of the Ghostrick Alucard in the graveyard, which will then get met with the Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion. Okay, we'll go to the battle phase and we'll swing in with the Alucard, beat over the Bone Terror, and then main phase 2 will go for the ZZ Ares, but this is not a particularly great position for us. I mean, it's not the worst, actually. We will be able to trigger the effect of the Ares in order to attach the other Alucard. Just as a reminder, Alucard's add from graveyard effect is not, in fact, a once per turn. We will then link off this fairy in order to summon the Festival, since we can't flip it face down and get it protected from this Parade. Then we're going to trigger the Jack Frost after activating the Parade in order to summon, or in order to flip it face down so that it can't be targeted for attacks, and we'll pass over to our opponent. Draw phase, and it's Bone Overcore. This card is literally just Lava Golem. It's just Lava Golem. This is just Lava Golem. A Refuse is going to get rid of our Festival and our ZZ Ares, which is highly unfortunate since that was the bulk of our interaction. Well, the ZZ Ares was, but neither of our other cards are going to do anything anyway, so it doesn't really matter what card got attributed. Refuse is going to activate Book of Moon. What's that triple? There's not Book of Moon, it's Book of Life. You got baited. Haha, this is a green card instead of a blue card. Which is going to special summon back the Haunted Mansion and banish the Alucard from our graveyard, which we neglected to trigger. Activate Alucard! Activate Alucard! No! Oh no, she has Ghostrick AirPods in. She can't hear us. Oh god! Activate Alucard! Refuse is now going to link together the Algol Mazira and the Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion in order to summon the Avenged Savior and swing over the Bone Overlord. We're going to trigger the Ghost Trick or Treat, which is going to get negated by Refuse by paying a cool 2,000 life points. And then from the deck to the graveyard is going to be sent the Doom King Belladrock. And then we'll just gain 200 life points since all battle damage from this is gained instead of inflicted. And we'll pass the turn. We'll draw Standby Phase. The effect of Belladrock will trigger in the graveyard wig. It's just going to summon it. And honestly, Plague Spreader Zombie is just not it's just not the draw we needed. And without a 3, we can't summon the Psychic Tracker, and we just really can't do anything, and so we're going to just sweep it up. Well, that was one game of going first. How will a second game of going first? Because we just don't learn. Well, we've drawn a Venture Engine, so hopefully this is going to help, but Refuse has also drawn Bone Overcore. So maybe it's not going to help. We're going to summon Junk Forward, and then we're going to trigger the effect of the Rite of Aramisir to summon from the deck, or summon from the ether. That's where this is getting summoned from. Summoning the Adventure token and placing the Fateful Adventure. We're then going to normal summon the Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring and trigger the effect of the Fateful Adventure in order to search for the Drakabag, the Rideable Dragon. This is Drakabag. Just don't look at it. This is Drakabag. This is Drakabag. Promise. I promise. This is Drakabag. I promise. We're then going to overlay the Ash and the Junk Forward in order to summon the Ghostrick a la carte and then go through basically just the entire same Ghostrick line. Trigger the effect of the Angel of Mischief, detaching the a la carte, search the shot, activate the shot, special summon back the a la carte. I still have no idea how this combo is supposed to go, but this is just the way I've been doing it. Overlay into an a la carte, activate the effect of the second Angel of Mischief, detaching one since we have the renovation. Searching for a parade is definitely the best play here. Then we're going to trigger the effect of the a la carte in the graveyard, adding back the shot, and then we're going to activate the effect of the Fateful Adventure. And we're going to search for the Illegal Knight and discard the Drakabag, the Rideable Dragon. And then we're going to activate the effect of Drakabag, the Rideable Dragon in the graveyard in order to attach itself to the Avenge token. That's what's happening. Shut up. Then we're just going to activate the effect of Illegal Knight in hand, special summoning it from the hand, and in hindsight, this is probably just like... Maybe this isn't the correct play, but at the same time, if I don't do this, then Bone Overcore tributes token and my absolute Xyz Emperor, and then I have a Bone Overcore and no way to summon this Illegal Knight. So I suppose this is probably the correct thing to do. We're going to pass the turn on this, and Refuse is going to draw, and it's If I Could Save Time, a very funny quick play spell. Now, Refuse is going to go draw Standby main, and in the main phase, it's going to be Bone Overcore over my token and my Emperor. I love Yu-Gi-Oh! I love Lava Golem. He's going to go to the graveyard, and at this point, I'm really thinking I'm probably going to lose this game. If I Could Save Time is going to just mill the top card of the deck, and the top card of our deck is in fact a Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion, so it will not trigger If I Could Save Time's extra effects, which are pretty nutty. Before the activation of Necro or Banshee, which I skillfully pick up on, we're going to trigger the Ghostrick Renovation, bouncing back to hand this Ghostrick Parade in order to activate the Necro Valley from the deck. This will then stop any cards from being banished from the graveyard or summoned from the graveyard, or doing pretty much anything from the graveyard. And funnily enough, I think this card does actually stop the zombie world from making everything on the field a zombie, because it can't make anything in the graveyard a zombie, because of Necro Valley. I love cards. First of all, however, we are going to summon the Bone Reaper and use its effect in order to search for the Bone Mirage, which is arguably busted. We're then going to use Polymerization, and I was expecting Bone Mirage and having to shotgun the Cyclone here, so just ignore that. That didn't happen. We're literally cheating. We're going to fuse together this Jackabolan and this Bone Reaper in order to summon a Dragon Necro Nether Soul Dragon. Oh my goodness, that's a scary card. That's a really scary card. Dragon Necro Nether Soul Dragon is a very, 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 very scary card. It does a lot of damage. Damage to the board because it summons tokens and then just beats over everything. It's just generally such a pain to get rid of. Refuse is now going to activate Bone Mirage, and in order to stay alive by virtue of not giving Refuse back Bone Overcore, we're going to activate this Cosmic Cyclone in order to pay 1,000 and banish that Mirage, and it will not resolve since it is a quick play spell. Refuse is going to go to battle phase, and he's going to swing with the Dragon Necro into my Illegal Knight. Luckily, Illegal Knight is not destroyed, and it does have the same attack as it does defense, which means that this 2,000 token off of Dragon Necro and Another Soul Dragon is not going to do anything to beat over it. Refuse is then going to go main phase 2 and pass the turn. No, it's going to link off the token to summon the Castle of True Illusions. Wait, is this... Oh, this is level 7. That's so funny. It's not a level 8. We're going to draw, and it's Ghostrick Jack Frost, and any monster here probably just does it in terms of being able to kill. The effect of the Castle of True Illusions, unfortunately, only triggers on the Dragon Necro of the Soul Dragon. But it's fine. It's fine. It doesn't mean anything. We're just going to send this Necro Valley to the graveyard in order to set a field spell from our hand. Activate the Ghostrick Shot now that we can, because the Necro Valley is gone and we know that we are no longer at threat of any kind of Ghost Spell. We're going to special summon back the Alucard and overlay it into the Ghostrick Angel of Mischief. Trigger the Ghostrick Angel of Mischief, detaching the Alucard in order to add from the deck to the hand the Ghost Trick or Treat, which is our last target. And then we're going to trigger the effect of the Alucard in graveyard to add back the Ghostrick Angel of Mischief into the extra trick just in case we need it. We then go to normal summon the Ghostrick Jack Frost, since we control a Ghostrick face up, which is the Angel of Mischief, and then link 4, including one monster that's special summon from the extra deck, to summon Tar-Unter Divine Scream. Tar-Unter Divine Scream's effect is going to activate, targeting the Alucard, special summoning it to a zone at point 2, reducing that monster's attack point to 0, and increasing our Tar-Unter's attack points to that, to match the lost attack points, which will make this Tar-Unter 4,000, make this Ghostrick Alucard 0. We're going to then go to the battle phase in order to swing into the Alucard for 8,000 points of damage. Access code at home, baby. Access code at home. It just OTKs. I love OTK cards. Game 3. After siding, I don't think I sided a single card because I was pretty happy with just siding in the Cyclones over the Mourners. I think I sided these in over. Yep, all the time, as certain content creators might call this, it's time for the all-important Game 3. And we've opened pretty well. We have a Bell to stop our opponent from doing anything, and then we have Junk for a Bell to go into the entire Ghost Trick line later. We have Ghost Trick or Treat, which means we don't need to bother about searching it, and we instead focus on going for Parade or Renovation. We also have the Cyclone to stop this Call by the Grave from doing anything. So Refuse is going to start off by normal summoning Bone Terror, and then triggering the Bone Terror's effect in order to search for Dark Dust Spirit. This is an Earth Zombie. Jacobolin's effect is going to trigger in the hand to discard the Bone Chimera and special summon itself from the hand. Unfortunately, it can't summon anything from Refuse's hand, but it can summon stuff from our hand. He's then going to set 1 and pass the turn, and with Parallel Exceed, I mean, that's just the end of the game, baby. That's just the end of the game. We're going to start off by going Cosmic Cyclone to banish the face down card by paying 1,000 life points, and that's just going to pave our way for pretty much just winning the game. Special summon Junk forward, normal summon the Ghost Spell and Haunted Mansion, overlay into an Alucard, trigger the and then overlay into the Angel of Mischief. We're going to then trigger the Angel of Mischief, detaching the Alucard in order to search for Ghostrick Shot. Then we're going to activate the effect of the Ghostrick Shot. Oh no, Jacobolin's effect is going to trigger in order to special summon back the Alucard from the graveyard. However, that is a very operative would. It would do that if I didn't have Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion, which I'm very lucky my opponent did not have Call by the Grave for. We're then going to activate Ghostrick Shot and special summon from the graveyard the Ghostrick Alucard, and then we're going to link away the Alucard for the Ghostrick Festival. This is then going to allow us to trigger the Exceed to summon itself to a zone a link monster points to, and trigger the effect of the Alucard to add back the Ghostrick Shot from the graveyard. Exceed effect is going to summon itself from the hand, and then we're going to trigger the Exceed in order to special summon the Exceed from the deck. Usually this will be used to then go into another Angel of Mischief, but here we're just going to OTK. We're going to link away 4 monsters, including at least one monster from the extra deck, and we're going to summon Tar-Unter Divine Scream, special summon back the Ghostrick Alucard, and that's just the end of the game, baby. That's 8,000 damage. You better have a hand trap for Tar-Unter, because otherwise you're just gonna die. And that's just the end of the game. Okay, I promise Tar-Unter is a Ghostrick card. I promise. Unfortunately, we didn't really get to see so much of the Ghost Girl engine, but I am happy to see that my theory does, at least in part, work. The Ghost Girls function as hand traps and interruption pieces, while simultaneously being level 3 extenders for a normal summon to combine with something like a wielder or a junk forward. While I doubt that this will ever see the light of competitive play, I still think it is very funny, and showcased at least some of the elements of Ghost Girls on EXU. That's it for today's seasonal special Archetype Spotlight. Please be sure to like the video if you enjoyed, to tell us what you thought down in the comments, and subscribe if you want to see more content. Remember to turn on the notification bell as well so you won't miss a single upload. There is a link down in the description to join our Discord server, where you too can explore the vast array of cards we have to offer, play competitively or casually, and chat with other custom card creators around the world. Thank you very much for watching, and happy Halloween.